Were there any resources on campus that were really helpful for you?
Besides ATA?
No, you can talk about this a little bit too.
Oh, okay. So a lot of, okay, so I have, well, now 2 daughters. So during my school year, I had my oldest, and it was a struggle of balancing workload with being a mom. So I talked to Andrew a lot as my academic success coach to make sure I was staying on track with where I needed to be, as well as discussing with my advisors that I was making sure I was taking the right courses to graduate on time. But I mean, besides Andrew, Andrew and our Red Bull exchange, it was life. I'm telling you, it was life. Besides that, I was also a part of the Scholars Academy. Okay. So they had we had peer mentors there too. So the combination of the peer mentors from both groups helped me get through my undergrad.
Awesome. We have evolved a lot. We have peer mentors now.
Right.
Andrew was still here, success coaching. I still think he's getting trades for Red Bull.
Yeah.
I think it's Monsters now.
He moved to Monsters.
Yes. But that just talks about, it just speaks to, how we've grown as a program and how we were able to meet the needs for students like you who are full-time, who are parents, who have outside obligations. You talked about visiting your success coach.
Yes.
How did that impact your experience?
So meeting with Andrew, it was kind of, you'd have these thoughts about what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go. And it was he was kind of like a sounding board. He'd tell me what sounded feasible and what might not have been as feasible as my imagination portrayed it to be. So it was more of I was able to, all my jumbled thoughts, I could sound off with him and clarify where I wanted to actually go.
Okay.
Which route.
Awesome. And have you kept in contact with with Andrew at least?
Actually, I haven't talked to him in a few months. I talked to him over the summer though, but not recently with all my workload and my kids. I just hadn't really been able to stay in touch, but I'm definitely going to hit him.
No, he is here. He will be at the mixer later on, so that'd be a wonderful time to connect and everything. Earlier we were talking about, I heard you talking about letters of recommendations. Do y'all mind re-asking the question and then provide another answer?
To enter grad school, I am aware that we do need to have a certain amount of letters of recommendation. For these resources to obtain a letter of recommendation, does the source have to specifically come from the realm of academia? Like, does it have to come from a professor, or does it have to come anything that's related to school?
No. Although they like it to be school related, just to see your educational efforts and what your professors who have worked with you, what their opinions are of you academically. You can use outside sources. If you have a job that you've been working out for years and you ask your supervisor to write you a good letter of recommendation, they could highlight maybe stuff that your professors don't know, your work ethic, attendance, things of that nature, to show that you will show up, you will work hard, you will be the best that you can possibly be. And if you don't understand, you'll seek that understanding. So sometimes an outside source would be good. As far as the letters from your professors, they're there to say, hey, we had these projects, they've learned this. In it, he showed team collaboration, all the things academically that you need to show to get into that program.
Excellent. And I also remember that you mentioned that it has to specifically ask for a good letter recommendation.
Absolutely. You don't want to ask for a letter of recommendation and then a professor who may not be as fond of you as you think turn around and say, absolutely not, I do not recommend this person for this program. You don't want that. It's helpful, I found, to specifically ask for a good letter of recommendation and then also include things you want them to highlight about. Efforts on working in a project, my team collaboration, my leadership skills, stuff like that. If you could include 2 or 3 points that you want them to highlight on, it makes it easier for them as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Awesome, great question, Adria. Was the GMAT or GRE required for your program?
So the GRE is required unless your GPA is high enough within your last 2 years. I want to say it's 2 years or 2 semesters of your course load.
Okay.
So I wound up graduating summa cum laude, so I didn't need it. So yeah, so it is. They do look at that. And I know taking the GRE is not as expensive as I thought.
Yes.
So, yeah.
To expand on that, I like how you touched on, they look at your last 2 semesters or last 60 credit hours, because that's the coursework of the program that you're in. And kudos to you for graduating soon laude.
Yeah, that was hard.
I know. I can only imagine. But you did it and you thrived in it. And in my experience, I had to look at my last 60 hours. And gracefully, I was able to have a 3.0, even though I graduated with a 2.5 overall. My last 60 hours really saved me and opened the door for my grad program. So for any students who find themselves in the boat that I was in, that is an option for you as well. Talk to your professors, order your transcripts, and have that conversation, letting them know that this is something that I really want to do, although I may not have the GPA for it. How can I get around it? And you can also get accepted on conditional status as well. We pray that all of y'all don't have to if you decide to go that route, but if it does happen, that is an option for you to go. That's a way for you to go as well. I had another follow-up question about it too, but it's slipping my mind about the grad program. And we'll come back to that in a bit. What are your aspirations with this degree?
So I've always wanted to work for the NSA. And they have several intelligence analyst positions that require a master's degree and extensive background checks and all of that. The background's in the back. I just need the degree. So that's my goal, to get that, to land that job.
Okay. And the NSA is the National Security Association? Agency. So Washington, right?
It's a federal, they have branches in Houston.
Okay. Awesome. And we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
How has the pandemic shaped your learning experience and life for you?
So I'm not a very good online learner.
Okay.
I can sit in a class and then mute myself and turn off my camera and go do everything under the sun but be in that class.
Okay.
Especially with my kids.
Yes.
So I find that even after class, I have to go back and read the chapters and do additional research on Google to get clarification on topics I have no clue about. I mean, it's worked. I'd rather be on campus though.
Okay.
Because I have that designated time. I know I have to be sitting there. My professor's right there. I can't get up and go do random things. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of Zoom, but it's worked.
And as you can see, I'm not a fan of Zoom either. I'm the in-person interaction.
Right.
It's different.
It is.
It's different. What has been some success tips that you built over the past year and a half?
I plan a lot.
Good.
So I have this is gonna sound funny. I have a color-coded planner for each course, personal events and stuff like that, and it is my lifeline. Like, they tease me about it all the time, but I will spend hours just doing that planner just to make sure I don't fall behind in the future.
That's okay.
That's how it works.
So what day do you set aside to plan?
So usually it'll be like a Saturday or Sunday or early in the morning before I start on my homework.
Okay.
If new assignments are assigned, then I go in and I update everything. As soon as I finish and submit an assignment, I cross it out.
Okay.
That way I don't have to worry about it. And then I don't like to wait to do the assignment until it's due. As soon as it's assigned, I try to knock it out. So if I knock it out as soon as it's assigned within a day or two, that frees me up time to do whatever else I want.
Is there like a certain method that you use to help balance like your school life and personal life and social life?
My fiance would say him. No.
Come on,
Honestly, it's the planner. So because I don't like to procrastinate, he does help. I'm not even gonna lie. He does help. Because he will take the kids and be like, mommy has to do her work. Like, so he'll take the girls so I have that quiet time. But it's the planner. If I know when I have assignments due, or if I do them as soon as they're assigned, then I have that free time.
Yeah.
So if I know on a Tuesday I have to go grocery shopping and still pick up the girls from daycare, but I also have an assignment due, but I knew about that assignment last Thursday. If I do that assignment on Thursday, then I can just focus on everything else that Tuesday. So I try to balance it that way. Knowing when my assignments are due, doing them before they're due. So I'm not trying to hurry up and rush through them. That way I can do it, say it's assigned on a Tuesday, I do it that Tuesday. But that gives me Wednesday to go back over and make sure my answers are A1 and then submit it on its due date. So that's how I balance, by planning. As soon as I knock out my assignments, I have all the free time in the world. I have my own business. My fiance has his own business. So it's also managing his bakery, my tax business, all in one. So
shameless plug, what's the tax business? Because season's coming up.
G Services. I do individual and business tax returns.
Awesome. And the bakery, because we love food. We love food.
Gregory's Creative Creations. You can find him on Instagram at GCC_treats_cakes. Yeah.
And favorite cake from the bakery?
I honestly don't have a favorite because 9 times out of 10, he's custom making every cake that comes through him. So I've had my birthday cake, my graduation cake, my just because I wanted a cake. And they've all been different. Okay. So I think the one common thing, because he knows I love chocolate covered strawberries, is they all have them on it. Okay. So I couldn't give you a favorite.
She's my twin. You have the same favorite color.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm
telling you. Separated at birth with no genes. Like, bro.
It's clicking.
No,
it's funny.
No genes.
How important has community been for you on your journey?
Really important. So I've always tried to volunteer. In high school, I was a distinguished service graduate from volunteering at various dementia facilities. So it's always been important to me anyway. When I first started college, I did Adopt the Highway. I did a mentoring program. I tutor a lot. I did Gator Serve last year, where my group in particular built bookshelves for an elementary school that needed to store their textbooks. So when this recent hurricane just hit Louisiana, which is where my fiance is from, we went and donated water
Wow.
for that. So it's always been a part.
Yes, wow. Do you plan on using G services to serve the community?
Absolutely. I'm actually recently been looking into, they have different programs where you go into low income areas for people who may not be able to pay for or don't know how to do their own taxes. So I'm trying to see what I can do to get into one of those programs.
Awesome.
To be able to go help them out.
Awesome. You're doing the thing, Jade. That's so
And I try. It's a lot of sleepless nights, I'm telling you.
But it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off.
Oh, definitely.
So online learning, and you are a mommy of two. How has online learning been for your babies and helping?
So everybody in my class knows them by name. And apparently they're the future data scientists of this.
Hey, that's fine.
It's like they see the camera and they have to be there. It doesn't matter if mommy says she really needs to write these notes. I have one on this arm and one on this shoulder.
They can take the notes for you.
If they could write.
And they prefer walls.
Yeah, they do. They do. I have permanent markers on my wall right now. So no.
And how has the classroom learning been for them? What have been some tips of success for their learning?
So actually they love going to daycare.
Okay.
They love learning every day they come home. Like I think last week, my oldest just sat there. I asked her when her birthday was. She told me, and then she told me all the months of the year. And I was just looking at her like, when did that happen? It's every day they learn something new. And then they'll just hit us with it a week later like it was nothing.
They're paying attention to class?
Yeah, they pay attention. They love it.
Awesome.
If I tell them I'm in school, I want to learn too. Can I help? Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because I remember at that age, I did not want school at all.
Playtime was outside.
Playtime, like seriously. I kind of like books too, so I'd have my moments where I'd sit there and read a book, but no, I needed to go play baseball and ride a bike and nothing.
But that is inspiring though, to see your mom and your dad go and pursue education relentlessly. Like learning is something, is an attitude, an attitude of learning. And so it's infectious.
Yeah.
So you see your babies doing it and it'd be the month, the days of the week, the month, they're gonna remind you now.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Birthday's coming up.
Oh, they tell me it's their birthday every day. And it doesn't help because he's baking cakes every day. So they think, yeah.
Every day is cake day.
Every day is cake.
That's awesome, awesome. Well, we're gonna take some more questions from the audience. If we have some from our online viewers or in the room right now. No questions? Perfect. We're gonna keep this thing rolling then. So you're still at UHD with us in your master's program. What are some organizations that you gravitated to, whether it be an undergrad or as a grad student?
So honestly, in my undergrad, it was always ATA and Scholars Academy.
Okay.
As far as my graduate, I don't think I've really had as much time as I want to look into graduate orgs. But I did hear, there were a couple of organizations, like, don't ask me the name right now because I'm drawing a blank, that they have for the grad program that I was interested in looking at.
Okay.
Like I said, I just hadn't had the time, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
In regards to funding your education, if you don't mind sharing a little bit, sharing about your experience with scholarship opportunities, funding opportunities, how did you make college as affordable for you as possible?
Pell Grant.
Okay.
And then scholarships. So there were a couple of scholarships for minorities and women in the sciences.
Nice.
And I wound up scoring those my junior and senior year
Awesome.
for all 4 semesters.
Awesome.
And then going into grad school, there was a graduate scholarship that I landed as well.
Okay.
Aside from that, student loans, and working. So sometimes it was paying out of pocket, especially in the summer. And then 9 times out of 10 in my undergrad, the Pell Grant and my scholarships covered everything.
Okay.
Graduate school, not so much. So you're not eligible for the Pell Grant in grad school. So it was mostly loans out of pocket, and a graduate scholarship.
And how did you get connected to those scholarships for women in data analytics?
Honestly, one of my data science professors
Awesome.
sent me the link. And then I just subscribed to their newsletter after the first time, and I just kept applying. So when I got to my senior year, I didn't get as much funding, and I was probably 2, maybe 3,000 short. And when I applied for their scholarship, they wound up writing me back and saying, how much do you need to finish your undergrad? And I sent them my tuition statement, and they paid it in full.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of blessings.
Yeah,
a lot of blessings.
How much do you need? That's mood.
Yeah.
Mood.
Right.
Mood. That has to be a reassuring moment that you were meant to be on this journey.
Oh,
you were meant to finish.
Yes, because it just so happened with data science, there's so many programming languages that I wind up using. So both of my laptops crashed in my senior year. And so not only did they pay my tuition, they bought me a new laptop too. Yeah.
Come on, abundance.
A gaming laptop to
Yes.
handle it. Yeah.
So are you playing games?
I do not. I actually don't game at all. I have C++, which is part of Visual Studios. I have Python, I have Tableau, I have R, I have Julia. With all of those programming languages on my computer, that's it. That's it. There is no gaming available. Like, there's no space. If it's not built-in Windows Solitaire, I'm not playing it.
I'm a freestyle type. So
I'm a freestyle too.
like
Freestyle.
In your experience, what have you noticed in regards to software? What has been the most common software you're using right now?
Zoom. Zoom.
No shame.
No shame at all. Microsoft Office, actually, like the Outlook, but there have been some people that use the Google Docs and Google Sheets. I hate them, but I've been using it a lot lately.
Okay.
And it really is similar to Microsoft Office. I just don't like the online user face. I want big screen. I want my home tabs. I want to be able to see. That's my problem. I need to see everything.
Okay.
So I think those, and more for my degree, it's like programming languages than anything. But yeah, Microsoft Office, Outlook. I use Teams quite a bit over the summer. I did a research assignment with Dr. Shoemaker.
Okay.
So I really needed Teams, but those are pretty much.
And the programming languages, which ones have you noticed you use the most, or is it a balance of all of them?
No, it's mostly R, Python, now in grad school, Tableau.
Okay. And can you get certified in these programming languages as well?
You can.
Is that, I know you mentioned that a lot of positions are looking for a master's degree. Are they also looking for certifications? If so, which ones are the most marketable?
I actually haven't seen job positions in Houston that ask for certifications, unless it's like health field that needs some medical certification.
Okay.
as far as programming languages, 9 times out of 10, they just send you an assessment to do the coding that they need, and then go based off of that.
Okay. You mentioned coding. Is data analytics has coding in it as well?
Yes, so data analytics is mainly taking those ridiculously huge data sets and making it into something that somebody else with no coding experience could understand.
So like me,
So-
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so like Ashley, so I would take the data and I would make these nice little charts and summaries and regression analysis, different statistical learning or machine learning algorithms to get you any answers you want. So
Okay.
you would give me the questions and I would use whatever I need to
Okay.
answer them for you and just make it presentable.
Okay. And is there, you said you wanted, your dream aspirations are the NSA. Is there an area in the NSA that you wanna go into?
So, so at first I was thinking linguistics, and then as I got older, I realized I'm not very good with languages.
Okay.
So I'm more into decoding, and I took a course in my undergrad where we learned how to decode or encrypt different things, how to put a message into a picture and send it. So probably there.
Wanna be a spy.
Yeah, it's just,
Spy
I mean,
adjacent.
Agent G, it
Yeah,
just sounds great.
It does. I like that.
I
I
thought
like
so.
Agent G.
I'm
Yes.
telling you.
So have you tried it? Have you done it for play? Like send hidden messages?
I have, but the people I don't send them, I sent them to, don't even know it's there. So, I mean,
It's not fun when they
I
don't get
figured
it.
the next time one of my brothers irritates me, I just send them a virus. I just-
I mean, I told it though, right?
No.
Wait a minute.
Just something where, I don't know, something I can just pause their screen so they can click
And say stuff.
and I'll just be typing to them like,
I told you.
I told you
Stop messing
to
with me.
stop messing with
playing.
me.
And now your computer is
I'm
alive.
telling you,
So what
I'm
you
the
gonna do?
baby of my family. So
Ah,
I have 4 older brothers and 2 older sisters. So they're always picking on me.
but you
So why not?
can really hack their
I could
Instagram.
really, and then all of them need their computers. So it just would really be messed up.
It's a win-win for you. Do a
I
little
think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
pay for lunch
Practice.
for a week,
Yeah.
ransomware.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm ready.
That is so not fair. I'm gonna remember that.
You snitching?
Yeah, you snitching.
Your secret is safe with
I appreciate
everybody
it.
online right here
I appreciate
in this
that.
room. Just don't hack us.
I won't. UHD, that's too much work.
Okay. Wow. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
And,
Y'all too. It's been a minute.
Jade was here with us at the beginning, fall 2019.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was our second semester as an ATA program. We had Andrew was the only coach,
Mhm.
and this lounge.
Yeah, the only one we
listen.
needed.
And now we have 2 incredible coaches, Andrew and Kelsey. We're in our new lounge.
I know, I'm
It's-
jealous.
It's big.
It's huge.
This used to be like half of this room was the ATA lounge, and Jade was in there all the time. And just the growth of the ATA program.
It's amazing.
What is something you would like the ATA program to incorporate or expand on in the work that we're doing from your experience?
Honestly, it looks like y'all have. So,
Brag about it.
I mean, it seems like y'all have. I haven't been actually on campus in the better part of a year. So to see this being the new lounge and I've always loved the CLCs, you know, I used to sneak in them all the time. So like, I felt like they were sneaking. Half of them weren't even for me. Like, so,
Listen,
but honestly, it seems like y'all already have, like, because the CLCs, even then, sometimes I couldn't make them, but we didn't do the recordings where we could access them if you didn't make them. So that was my only real, I don't want to say issue, but I'll say issue for lack of a better word.
yeah.
But yeah.
We record them all now.
Yeah.
Still need to make it more flexible, and that's something that we're expanding on. But thank you that you got to see us in the beginning, and to see that we've expanded on the work that we're doing, and still like consistent.
Yeah.
That is refreshing to hear. We have a full team now. We have a project coordinator who's an ATA alumni as well. And we 2 coaches. Erica's still doing her thing. Christy's still doing her thing. I'm still, rocking these CLCs, still students still sneaking in, and that's okay, because there's something to take from each event.
Right.
How important are these spaces for transfer students?
Honestly, like so I had been to a 4-year university initially. I went to Texas Tech. And my biggest issue, if I went to the library, I get sleepy because it was really, really quiet. If I went to my room, I get sleepy because my bed was right there. And there was really no place where I was comfortable enough with the right amount of traffic or the right amount of encouragement to sit there and study for hours on end working on assignments. And ATA gave that. Like, the lounge itself was a lifesaver for me for my undergrad, because I'd leave one class, go to the lounge, work on an assignment, go to another class, and come back. And then my mom would be calling me after my last class ended, like, where are you? Come get your kid. And I'd be in the ATA lounge doing homework. So it was a lifesaver for me.
That is important, because we're a non-residential campus.
Right.
And I've seen you a lot around campus, especially outside. So how did you stay on campus when, traffic is one thing. Houston traffic is
traffic
terrible.
it's the reason you don't want to drive to begin with.
Yes. So
once you get down here, the second thing that makes you not want to leave is parking in the daily lot. Okay. So it's a far walk.
Yes.
I mean, they have shuttles, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to walk that far, and I don't want to be lazy enough to take a shuttle, because I feel, for me, it's lazy. But so I park all the way at the back of the daily, right by that very, very last pickup spot. Just in case at the end of the day, after walking up 6 flights of stairs multiple times a day, I was too tired to actually walk back to my car, I could just catch the shuttle and be right there.
Yeah.
So it was that. And then I made myself literally sit in between classes when I had downtime. It was homework, because I knew as soon as I got home, it was kid. So I stay up here. I come like an hour to 2 hours before my class.
Okay.
And then I would sit here all day.
Okay. Let's see a little bit. You plan on sitting here all day?
Well, see, the grad school classes are at night. So I literally come up here right after traffic. My class is 5:30 to 8:30, and then I'm out. Yeah.
How is sitting in a 3-hour class?
Well, they do offer breaks.
Good.
So they might lecture an hour, maybe an hour and a half, then give you a break.
Okay.
Like a 10 to 15 minute break, and then go back into it for the remaining time. So it's actually not as bad as you think.
Awesome. What have been some skills and strengths you noticed that were fitting for the career field of data analytics?
Definitely programming.
Okay.
Knowing R and different statistical methods. So regression, machine learning, stuff like that is the biggest thing. And I found during my summer session that a lot of groups there. So a lot of my group members had never coded before. So they'd have to do a crash course on coding. So for data analytics, the biggest thing is learning those languages. Even if you don't know them all, having some type of coding experience is a plus.
Okay. What about soft skills?
Teamwork is a big thing. Every class that I've had so far, we've worked in groups. And you get like weekly homework assignments that you have to work together on. But in the end, you wind up having a major project.
Okay.
Or something equally serious that y'all have to work on. So one of the biggest things is team collaboration. Second to that, they go hand in hand as communication. You have to be able to communicate with your group members.
Yes.
And understand that they all come from different backgrounds. So you need to be able to communicate on a level that's respectful.
Yes.
From there, I would say time management, because each of you will work on a different part, or y'all will all come together to work on a part together. And you have to be able to manage the time to make sure you don't go off task, you don't maybe overwork one person. You have to know how to do that.
And what has been one of those skills that you had to learn the most? Because it sounds like you have time management mastered with your planner and everything.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But I think my biggest issue was, I wouldn't even say working with other people from different backgrounds, because I'm used to doing that. It's just working with people who make suggestions and you're the only person to do it. So if you're in a group and you're the only programmer in that group and everybody else is suggesting this magnificent work of art that only you can do, I had to learn how to just calm down and breathe and explain that's really not feasible as the only coder in the group on XYZ timescale. So that's been my biggest thing, patience, I think. Patience.
Take a page out of it. In regards to, being the only programmer in your group sometimes, did you ever have to teach programming, coding, anything like that to your peers?
No. Yes and no. So in like big groups, we're working on a big project and I'm the only programmer. With a deadline, sometimes it's not feasible to teach. Whereas working in a class where all you do is programming and somebody has no coding background, you're going to use it all semester. So it's easier to teach and explain stuff. So I've had to do that a couple of times in programming classes, but as far as other non-technical classes, no.
And you spoke about obtaining the Women in Data Analytics Scholarship. This is a question about being a woman in data analytics, a woman of color in data analytics. How are you navigating that space?
I kind of just do what I do and let my work show itself.
Yes.
I know I can do the work. And I've been commended several times on my work. I have 2 professors right now that working in a group, you could put everybody's work together and then they can point mine out of a lineup.
Wow.
That's how well they know my work. So that's kind of my thing. Let me just present it. And I'm a neat freak. So my work is like, I take time doing layouts and all that. My coding could be done for 5 days and I'm still working on a layout just so the presentation is good enough to meet. So that's kind of what I do. I haven't really had to go out into the workforce
Mhm.
to be able to tell you exactly how that is. But as far as educationally, I just let my work show itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I hope that that is the case when you do get out into the workforce. Of course, there will be transitions and
Right.
people are different,
Absolutely.
but your work does speak for yourself,
Mhm.
and showing up as yourself, that's important as
Right.
well. So that's exciting. And
Yeah.
that's Jade.
fun.
That's Jade right there. I see that. I know that.
Yeah.
That is her.
Yeah.
How is the coding presented? You said you have a layout. Is it
So in R, you have code blocks.
Okay.
So I might have a title here, a heading here, and then I explain the problem. Then I have a block of code. But I don't like my block of code to be one chunk of a whole lot of words. So I'll space it out, I'll comment it out, and then there's different formats in the blank spaces where everything else goes.
okay?
So I like to format it that way. I like to make it very neat and very presentable. Some of the themes, I have favorites. So I often will change the default to go to my favorites. There was one instance where we were working on an assignment and somebody asked me for help. And I was like, okay, well, you do it like this. See, here's my code. You can see how I did it and break it down. They took it and put it in theirs. And she emailed me and was like, hey, if you help somebody, make sure they don't just copy your work.
Yeah. That's
It's plagiarism, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, at least you know.
Yeah.
I didn't copy off of him.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just different formattings in Markdown and HTML code.
Okay.
So
It may sound like you have to copyright your favorites if you can do that.
I wish. I think they're already copyrighted. Though.
The Gmat or something. It's a nice,
Something.
nice title or something. Well, we are at the hour mark of our interview. And Jade, I just want to thank you again for joining us
Absolutely.
for this conversation. Is there anything else you would like to share as parting words with our audience today?
For me, grad school seemed intimidating when I thought about it my senior year. And it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, but I would say that if that's something you really want to do it.
Mhm.
It's everything in life is gonna take some effort. So look at grad school like that. It's gonna take effort. You're gonna have to do the work,
Mhm.
not only just to get in, but to stay in. Because you have to keep a certain GPA at 3.0
Mhm.
to stay in grad school. So I would say if that's something you feel that you really want to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Jade, thank you so much again for being with us this evening. Right now, we are going to wrap up the panel today. Our other guest is not with us yet, but they will be here. If you do have the opportunity of joining us this evening at 5:30, we will be at McIntyre's. Jade will be with us, and our other guest, Kaila Barron, will be with us as well to connect with you all. We hope to see you there. And in the meantime, if you feel comfortable, we would love to get your contact information so that students can connect with you outside of this event.
That sounds fun.
Okay, and we'll be sharing it with y'all soon. Everybody take good care, stay dry, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon.